Hi everyone, it's Guide Rose here with the Cumming Nature Center, and I'm here today to show you how to make a moss garden that perhaps might welcome in some fairies or trolls or elves or other creatures of that sort. But first, let's make sure I've got the proper attire on. Just a moment. Alright, that's a little bit better. I have put on my witch's hat because I often think that mosses and ferns and lichens kind of remind me a little bit of magic. They're so teeny tiny, it's like you're entering a whole other world filled with secrets. And mosses and lichens and ferns, they've been around for so long. One of the first, mosses are actually the first land plants. They don't even flower, they're so old and ancient. You gotta wonder, what wisdom and what ancient secrets do they hide? So we're gonna find out some of those things today. Let's go see what we can find out in the woods. Oh, this moss is really cool looking. Looks nice and fresh and green, but it's growing in mid-air. So when you do find some moss, I don't want you to just look at it from standing up. Crouch down, get closer. There's a whole tiny world there waiting to be discovered. I wanted to take a second to show everyone this really tiny snail. I almost didn't see it. Let's consider why in the world are they so small? So mosses don't have a true vascular system. And the vascular system is what transports water through the plant. So they can't pull water up through the stems very far, which is why they're actually so tiny. They really rely primarily on their leaves to bring in a lot of the water, hence why they like and prefer moister environments. They don't do as well in the open and sunny spots. And another really interesting thing that mosses have are rhizoids in place of roots, and those are filaments that resemble roots that anchor all of the plants together to the ground, but they actually aren't really key in drawing water up. So it's a pretty common belief actually that moss always grows on the north side of trees and that you can use that information to help you navigate. But mosses don't always grow on the north side of trees. They just simply like more moisture. And given where we are in the northern hemisphere, there tends to be more sunlight coming from the south. And generally they don't like that extra sunlight. But you cannot trust that in a survival situation. If you're lost or you're looking for a way out, it's hard to follow the mosses. Don't look at one tree and think, oh, the moss is growing on the north side, I'll follow that. It's better to kind of look at all the trees around you. Take a sampling of the forest. Look at maybe 10 different trees and notice, is there a pattern happening here? Are they all growing on this side or that side? Is the moss growing all the way around the tree? And kind of go from there and see if maybe instead of using it as a compass, you can use it more so to help you walk in a straight line, to always keep the mosses on one side of the tree versus the other. And if you're curving around, you know, that perspective is going to shift. But it definitely is a myth that mosses only grow on the north side of trees. So when you're finding these mosses and you're trying to decide whether or not you want to take it for your terrarium, it's important to just be mindful. Is it the only patch of moss? Is it the only one of its kind? Or is it growing in a really luscious area with tons of it? And it's important to take this into consideration because moss grows pretty slowly. So we don't want to be ripping it up or destroying it. We don't want to have a big impact for our project, so we're just gonna look for kind of like a spot, maybe like I found here. The whole ground is pretty much covered in moss. Taking a little bit won't impact this area too much. So once you are back inside, hopefully you've collected a few different types of mosses by now. You're gonna want a couple of other additional items. So something that can hold the moss container. Could be as simple as this tray I pulled out of the recycling. A glass jar would work as well. Or if you have something bigger, like a pot, or even the base of a flower pot, that's used to catch the water. Any of those things will work to hold the soil and the mosses you collected. Make sure you brought also with you a couple of things from nature that caught your eye. Thanks for tuning in today. Hopefully you were able to get outside, do a little exploring, but also to bring some of that magic and wonder of nature back into your home in the form of a wonderful terrarium. And hopefully you learned a little bit about mosses as well in that process. Don't forget to water your terrarium. It's gonna need more moisture than you might think. And take care of it. And if you do make a terrarium, please send us a photo. We would love to see what you're up to.